Okay, so welcome back to the channel and episode 8 of the CBR600RR overhaul series. In this video we're going to be installing some flush flit side indicators with halo running lights to a European or UK spec CBR. Okay, so the reason that I specified European or UK spec is the wiring on the CBR from Europe or the UK is actually different to the US spec bikes. So these halo daytime running lights came from TST Industries. Obviously they're based in Florida and are plug and play for an American bike. So if you live in the States, these are literally unbolt, plug in and you're away. For us in the UK or anybody in Europe, it's a little bit different. It's actually our bikes only have 2 prongs rather than 3. So these connectors won't fit. So what we're going to need to do here is take off these connectors and we're going to sacrifice the indicators that came on the bike as stock, resolder the connectors from them on, and then we're going to have to put a whole new wire in for the daytime running light. We're going to pull that from the headlight feed on the other side of the bike. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the stock indicators from the fairing. So obviously I've already got the fairings removed on this bike. If you don't know how to do that, please check out the first video. I'll put a link up here somewhere now. So let's get to that. Okay, so we have the connectors cut from the TST Industries units. So the next task is going to be to identify what each of these wires actually does. So I'm going to say it's a safe assumption to say the black will be the earth, and one of these will be the signal and also the daytime running light. So just to confirm, all you need is a battery. Any battery will do. I've just got a battery here from a cordless drill. So let's hold the black onto the negative, and then we'll try the red wire first. Okay, so this confirms the black is the earth and the red is for the signal. So it should be the green. The green should give us the daytime running light. Yep, there you go. Okay, so the black and the red are going to join the wires that are already on our stock plug, and then the green is going to be the new wire that we're going to have to introduce. And tap that onto an ignition wire or ignition on wire on the bike. So first I'm going to tackle the indicators, so I'm going to join these connectors onto the stock indicators of the bike, and then we'll go from there. So I've got both of the connectors fastened onto the new indicators. I actually decided to use these like crimping style connectors. I don't normally use anything like this. I normally just splice and solder it, but I've had a whole tub of these things, so I thought I might as well give them a go. I'm going to put some heat shrink over these once I'm done, just to try and protect them a little bit. So these are both working. So now what we need to do is figure out these daytime running lights, which are the green wires on each of the new indicators. So if we have a look at the wiring harness wiring diagram, so as you can see here, if we compare the US version, so the indicator's got the 3 wires here that we mentioned. So they've got 2 orange ones going up to the instrument cluster, and the other one's actually going to the switch. Whereas on the UK and European versions of the bike, there's only 2 wires, and it actually splits off halfway up, and goes to the cluster and the switch. So what we're going to need to find here is going to be the headlight bulb. We're going to tap into the low beam headlight, as that's always on. So that's a blue and white wire. Okay, so just up here, see the blue and the white wires mentioned. So pull this connector down a little bit and see what we're working with here. There you go. So this is a connector for the headlight. So according to our wiring diagram, this blue and white wire here should be the wire that's on with ignition. So a really easy way that we can test that. Let's remove the connector. All we're going to need to do is just use a multimeter. So set to volts, and then once we switch the ignition on, okay, so we're going to put this into the live. Let's switch on the ignition, and if I touch the black onto a metal surface, we should get 12 volts with ignition on. To confirm that the blue wire is the live that we need to tap into to put the daytime running lights on. So what I'm going to do, obviously the indicators on these connectors, if we had wire the daytime running lights in, it's not going to make it easiest to remove the fairings out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tap into this wire here, and I'm going to make a little another loop of wire coming off to here with a bullet connector, and then we're going to run the same bit of wire right the way across this loom, up over the fuel tank, around the other side, and the natural wire actually follows down to exactly where we need to be. And I'll hang another little thread here with another bullet connector into it, so that way when we need to remove the fairings we can simply unbolt the indicators, pull off the bullet connectors and remove the fairings. Okay, so there we go, install complete. Fairly easy process. Normally, like I said, I would have used solder. I just wanted to really play around with the connectors. It's something I've never really used that much, but they seem to work well. I will go and tidy up some of the wiring before I install the fairings. I'm going to install the flush indicators onto the new fairings, but I'm not going to put the fairings back on the bike just yet because we do have some work still to do. Stick around, please do subscribe. In the next video, we're going to be doing a coolant flush. And then before we put the bike back on the road, with a few bits of carbon wrap and a few finishing touches. But till then, please do stick around, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.